Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron.
He's such a he just put himself in the way of Gillespie making a save, and then when he got knocked over, he complained.
Okay, so it's no longer going to be Ola, and what's happening is going to be Messi such a That's going to be your new intro.
I mean, I feel like that kind of worked. So just in case you're wondering, we are in fact filming this on Wednesday, August 27th at 10:09 p.m. And Ron is watching the Orlando and Miami in the what cup is this?
Leagues Cup. Yeah. And we'll update you later in the pod as we're in the semifinal games now.
As Orlando is up 1-0. So what else happened on tonight's Brewtiful Game other than you listening to us talk about a match that's already happened? We are returning Premier League match week 2. There's a lot happen. And we even got some Carabao, Chupacabra, Cuppity Cup, EFL Cup and stuff that happened. And we're gonna get right into that in our 2-minute drill. Then at halftime, we're gonna blow the whistle for the Grilling Girl Dad number 2 of the pod and the pride of London. With no longer the world record fee in women's football, Ron shares with us all the news that's fit to drink and yet another edition of Ron's Beer News. Then for the second half of the pod, it will turn for the La Liga's roundup. Let me get my whip. Both Spanish and German league soccer have returned and will travel across the pond as we have new attendance record in the NWSL, which is broken, and the semifinals of the League Cup for the MLS is taking place as we speak, as I done spoke already. But first, our beer. Gentlemen, I'm going classic. I'm going so classic, I got myself like a pottery freaking German Stein over here.
All right.
To do this in. I'm going to go with a good old standby, but I don't think we've had this on the pod. Anger, I'm sure the brewery we've had.
We've had that on the pod.
Absolutely. Anger, out a true Bavarian. Beer in Bavaria has an exceptionally high value since time immemorial, and they've been doing it at the Anger Brewery for 130 years. This is in particular, this is the deep and malty. It's a great food pairing. Anger at the foot of the Bavarian Alps is one of the world's most respected breweries, family owned and operated since 1878. And this is their Altbayerisch Dunkel, which I might be saying a little incorrectly. But up until the Second World War, dark beer was the predominant beer type in the Munich area. The hard water found in the region played a special role in producing this specialty. In his book, Beer International, the world-renowned English beer writer Michael Jackson, no relation, accurately describes the Anger Altbayerisch Dunkel as a good example of its kind, impenetrably dark with golden brown gleam, which held up to the light with a warm aroma and malty taste while summoning up coffee taste sensations on going down. It is brewed from 5 types of malt, 2 of which are torrefied dark, and it is only lightly hopped, produced using the traditional double fermentation process. Available in a 0.5 euro bottle, which is exactly what I've got. So a little classic. Going old school.
Sounds
awesome.
I am going with a brewery I'm pretty sure we've had on the pod, but maybe not this specific beer. Coppertail Brewing in Ybor City, Tampa.
Yep. Yeah, we've had that on the pod before. A good place.
American Triple.
We have not had that one. That's cool.
Unholy, the American.
Unholy, yeah.
If you ever come down to the Tampa area and you want to go to a wicked good brewery, Coppertail is a brewery that's a must stop and drink at. Coppertail Brewing is a independently owned production brewery and tasting room in the historic Ybor section of Tampa, founded on the desire to bring more quality Florida beer to the thirsty masses. And the Coppertail, how it got its name, it's the name of a mysterious sea creature said to dwell in Tampa Bay. Ferris, have you ever heard of that?
I have. Yeah, I've been to that brewery a bunch.
No, but have you heard of the sea creature?
Oh, well, I knew. Yes, I knew that they like a lot. Some of their, if you go into the brewery, a lot of their design and things on the wall and stuff are kind of based off of this sea creature of such.
The sea creature myth is the founders daughter's imagination. So she thinks that there is this mysterious coppertail swimming out in Tampa Bay. But whether it's mythic or magic, the name stuck, and the brewery was founded based on the spirit of curious, bold, and a little wild. So you should check it out if you ever get the chance. It's they call it Blasphemy in a Glass. It's their take on a traditional Belgian-style triple with American hops, big, bold, and dangerous. ABV 9.2, gentlemen.
Ooh.
We're going to drink it.
Ooh.
And this will come around in Ron's Beer News. So just keep in mind.
And I have a little bit to add into Ron's Beer News as well from the Tampa Bay area.
Okay.
So, yep. I'm more local to Orlando, where Ron and I are recording the pod from separate spots. But I recently did a fantasy football draft, American football draft at 1010 Brewing, a local brewery in town in the Mills District area. And they had one of my favorite beers in town on tap, surprisingly, but they do it for their Christmas in July. And it is Santa's White Christmas Stout.
That's awesome.
And it is quite it's quite amazing, but also quite relevant to today, because will Amarin even make it to Christmas is a separate question. But the White Christmas Stout is in collaboration with Barney's Coffee Tea Company.
Sorry, Schlegel sent off.
There's a surprise. But in collaboration with Barney's Barney's Coffee and Tea Company. If you heard of them, you might have heard of them because not only are they a local cafe, coffee and tea company here in Orlando, but in the 90s, you may have seen them in your mall. The big green sign, the green storefront. They were in 125 locations across the country in the malls in the 90s. They were one of the biggest coffee companies in the 90s. Their home base is here in Orlando, Florida, in the Winter Park area. And they do this awesome collaboration with 1010 Brewing. They've done it for a few years now, but it's Santa's White Christmas Stout, as I said. It is a 7.5% stout, and it's a white stout, so the color is going to be more of like your golden ale type. It is a darn good beer, so I'm looking forward to having it once again.
Sorry, it's Brecalo that was sent off on his second yellow and giving Clown Shoes a penalty.
Oh, well, that's fun.
Oh, way to go.
Oh, I didn't mean.
We're gonna get angry at this Orlando game, I have a feeling.
Yeah. I'm gonna need a beer, so let's get these things correct.
All right, let's do this. Yeah, I want this bad boy. I haven't had a good dunkel in a while.
I had this on tap just the other night, so I had to bring home a 4-pack.
I do love drinking out of a good clay. What do they call these? The steins, like the clay? Or...
Yeah, just a clay stein, right?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, Edrit.
Look at that color there, Ron. I don't know if I've ever actually seen the color of that. Look at that golden stout, white stout color. Isn't that pretty?
That looks good. You can't see mine. It's in a big clay mug.
Well, let's all hold them up to the camera, and I'll get one for the...
Cheers, gents.
Cilantro, boys. Inner Miami.
Oh, that dunkel's good.
Oh, another great triple. Oh, very much caramel in there. Oh, so good.
This white stout is just absolutely amazing. So Santa's White Christmas, I know I talked about Barney's, but their famous coffee that they've done for years is Santa's White Christmas. It is a great coffee. They do it in K-Pods now and all of that, but it is their by far most famous coffee that they do. So to do this collab and put it into a white stout, it is fan-freaking-tastic.
That sounds like a swear from a 1950s comic. Great Santa's Christmas. The spooklers over the hill. Can Captain Hero save the day? Like, that's what that sounds like to me.
Well, I don't know if I showed you guys the can at all, but that's the can art of the beer there.
That is fun.
Santa's White Christmas.
Yep. So again, they do it for their Christmas in July celebration. They had just a few 4-packs left, and I snagged one. So I might have a second one here if this game goes into overtime or anything.
I got a feeling that might happen.
Yeah.
All right, gents. Should we move along to the foosball?
Sure.
All right, let's do this.
Kind of. I don't really want to.
I know.
So let's do it.
Well, we're gonna move over to our 2-minute drill, but I'm just gonna go on a limb and say the first one ain't gonna quite be there. Now, normally I would start this 2-minute drill off, with 2 minutes, but I don't know. This first subject, as we move on, we're gonna let the Premier League conversation start off with Mr. Ferris. Ferris, take it away.
And why not start this 2-minute drill as you were alluding off there, Blake, to a 2x2 4-minute drill as Manchester United on Sunday drew 1-1 against Fulham at Craven Cottage, amongst a Bruno Fernandes skying a pen after a bump with the referee kind of saga. And then just earlier today, United in the second round of the Chupacabra, aka EFL Cup, lost to 4th tier Grimsby Town 12-11 on
You hear that?
pens.
You know what that is?
What is that?
You done got slapped by the fish. Do you know what that is?
They are a seaside town. This all followed a 2-2 draw, which saw United down 2-0 early on at the seaside Blundell Park Stadium.
There it is.
It seats 9,000. And they must send something in the text. I don't think I've gotten it yet.
I'm gonna send it your way right now so you can see what this is.
Before just after half, an actual storm dumped tons of water on the pitch, and United leveled it up before full time. But besides being slapped by the fish, bitch, as Blake said, what do you make of the whole Bruno thing, and where does United go from here following yet another embarrassing loss?
I feel like Ron and I might want to change I've just sent you, by the way. That's a tweet from Grimsby. They were like, we were really hoping we'd get to use this today. And they put this thing up that says you got slapped by the fish, because let's just take
Blake just added in the part. So we make sure that old Grimsby Town, they didn't actually, they tweeted this out, but they didn't add that kind of into it.
It stumbled across and I thought it was so flippin' funny. Because they're the Mariners, and they play in a town called, what is it? Cleethorpes. Man United just lost to a team in a town called Cleethorpes.
Yep. They have a population of like 85,000, and I think Old Trafford holds like 74,000. So pretty much the entire town of Cleethorpes can fit inside of.
So they got the Mighty Mariner is their mascot, and the Harry Haddocks, an inflatable fish symbol, is also used by the team. So that's why you got slapped by the fish. That is hysterical to me. First off, before we dive into Man United, dude, regardless of that's amazing. That's why you play that's why the FA Cup and the EFL can be so fun. To have a fourth level. No, where?
Fourth tier. The 4th tier. So what is that? League Two. League 2, and usually United or your bigger teams wouldn't be in this round 2 of this cup, but because we finished in 15th place last year, we're in the second round.
Oh my gosh, that's true. Insult to injury on that.
Yeah, and it's not uncommon. We've actually, we ever beat Grimsby, or we haven't played since the 40s. And the year that or since we have a hard time for some reason against them. And the last time we were playing in the second round, we also lost 4-0 in 2014 to MK Dons. So we just whatever it is, this is a whole different situation. But,
well, if I saw the stat correctly, Man United has not lost to a team this low against them since 1914.
That's probably correct. Yeah.
Yeah. An instant. Yeah. From the 1914-15 season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
probably correct.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you what Google AI said. The Grimsby loss is a new low for United in the League Cup.
Yeah, you don't say.
No
AI.
Thanks, Google.
Glad you could fill me in on that.
Yeah.
I mean, that amazing. They came out to play, but that's what your manager said too. Did you see the quotes from your manager?
Something must change.
Yeah, they're fair.
Yeah, I mean, like everything he
They're
said
fair.
was there was only one team that came out to play, and it was Grimsby, not us. Basically, is the
Yep.
gist of what he was saying, and and he is just laying everything down on the players.
Hey, well, and at some point it does have to go there. Now, I think Imran is to blame for a certain bit of this, as well. But he rotated the squad, pretty heavily, including the goalkeeper Onana, who is God, I hope he never plays another game
He's
for United.
trying,
he is just absolutely horrific.
Word is he's trying to get transferred because he wants to play more. But I'm like, well, this is not going to help you.
No, and he
Like,
pretty much the sole reason why we lost today. I mean, United didn't look great. Grimsby would just pressed well, just had more heart, chased things down, just had the better opportunities. Just they just were all over the place. But two goalie gaffes. The first, a near post strike, a lovely strike, maybe a little bit harsh on Onana, but he definitely should have done better. And then he flapped at it, and it was definitely a handball. In the mix as the Grimsby attacker kind of like carried it in his arm before like the ball fell, and it wasn't caught by the ref. And there's no VAR, but he just swung at it. He just completely went out to punch the ball and just missed. Like, you're a Premier League keeper, cost $60 million, and you miss a punch of the ball because you close your eyes as you're trying to come out to punch the ball. Like that's Sunday league stuff. That's not a top talent goalkeeper in the world's best league, and you're playing in fourth tier, and you can't even punch it. So there it was, 2-0 in the penalty shootouts. He touched the ball 6 times. He only made one save, but he touched the ball 6 times in that penalty shootout. You're a goalkeeper that uses your hands, and you touch the ball 6 times with your hands. Punch the ball away, make a damn save, and do something. The rest of United actually look like you want to play the game. Everybody besides Harry Maguire looked like they were just coasting for like a lovely seaside town. You know, let's go out on the pitch and just play. La-di-da-di-da. Oh, it's raining. Oh, let's just go out here and play. Yay, this is fun. Yay, we love this so much. Sorry, Blake, I'm going to just fill the sheet up with a whole bunch of cuss words because Man United sucks.
I like that.
All right, sorry, I'm done.
I like that his accent slowly came on as the tirade went on.
Oh,
The all-time record.
miserable.
Grimsby Town and Man U have faced each other 38 times. They are drawn equal 16 apiece with 6 draws between the two.
Yeah, and this was a lot of games back, many, many years ago.
In the 40s.
40s and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just absolutely dire. And Amron had to make maybe hold all 3 at half and some subs. And it worked. Brian Mbuemo got his first goal for the club, but not enough to get the win and get out of there. And it just heaps pressure. And it's bad. It's another notch down an all-time low.
And of course, the statisticians came out firing as soon as this happened, right, with all these stats.
Mm-hmm.
I love this one from John Salt on Blue Sky. To give some context to Grimsby's achievement in the EFL Cup, a club with an annual budget of $5 million just beat one with over $700 million. Man United have 13,900% more money than Grimsby.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
But when it comes down to it, on the pitch, none of that matters.
Nope.
And they had more heart. They They chased down. They beat us to the balls. They wanted that game more. And Amron's right, saying there was only one team that went out there to play. There was enough, by far enough talent out there that should have beaten that side. By far enough. I don't care if you rotated the squad 5 times. Now, the goalie, terrible, didn't help. But on the other end, they didn't score any goals. Like, United didn't score any goals. To even get into like this shootout, it came in the second half after a bunch of subs were made, and kind of late because it happened in like the 73rd or something. Just not good.
It did give us our absolute. I don't think like Jose Mourinho toward he in the Premier League this year would give us this. It gave us the best press conference or following press quote I have ever seen in a match. It's definitely out of the EFL Cup. And that was Christy Pym, Grimsby Town's goalkeeper, whose quote being interviewed was, "I'm a Man United fan, so I'm half fuming, to be honest." It's one of the best quotes to come out of there. I don't know. I feel like Ron and I might want to do over on our manager fired first. I feel like there's this world where he needs to be given a chance to build, but there will also just be if this kind of stuff just keeps mounting, they'll just feel like they have to drop him.
Sorry. Wait, let me rephrase that. They have to let him continue because they have players from 6 different managers.
Yeah.
Right? If you can this one, someone else is going to come in. They're going to have the same problems as the last one, and you're just in the same vicious cycle. So give him a few years. Get rid of the dirty laundry and let them try and rebuild the team.
I agree, but at the same point, is the stubbornness going to get to him and trying to play this 3-4-2-1 system, which is clearly just not working.
That doesn't work. Yeah.
He's lost 15 games in his tenure. He's lost more games than he's won by far in the years that he's been. You know, he's lost since he's been there since January. So at some point, it just comes down to get a result. But those are far and few between. And trying to hammer this system in, I think you need to. How you can address your goalkeeper is mind-boggling. Because we could pretty much put whichever goalie starts, 2 losses so far on a 3-game season down to the goaltenders. Yes, we haven't scored a bunch, and we only scored our first goal from an outfield player and not an own goal this season. So the scoring has to absolutely improve, and we've gone into the market and gotten that. So we got to give them some time to gel. But in the back, the goalies, 3 goals given up out of 4 goals given up this season. You could purely put at the feet of the goaltenders.
Speaking of like needing goals, why was Sesko like the 10th to take the penalty kick?
He wasn't. He was like the last one. He was like the 10th or.
That's what I'm saying. He was like the 10th. That's why I said, yeah. He like, why was he so late?
I don't know. I mean, he made that. Bruno made both of his following the Fulham game. Listen, the Pens are what they are, right? Cunha had a chance to win as the 5th taker. Onana stopped this second one from Grimsby, and all Cunha had to do was just bury the ball, but instead it got stopped. It got saved. So we continued on and went through the second round of them, and then it was then that in Buemo, who made his first, just rattled off the crossbar. So the Pens are what they are. You know, when you get to Pens, it's a coin to toss in a way, but they let it get to Pens, right? Grimsby got it to Pens, and it just fantastic for them. Best night they've probably ever had. Congrats to them.
Is that grosser sounding? Is that a better fish slap? I was trying to find a better fish slap sound effect.
We can't hear it on our end if you're playing it. So,
well, Go back and listen to the pod. Oh God, it's wet. It sounds really gross. It was called Fish Slap Ground Snow Wet and Writhing. It's pretty bad. I apologize to everybody listening. When it's called, it's pretty gross. Oh, this new sound effect thing I have is dangerous. Well, I'll blow that late, but I had a feeling we were going to chat that one a little bit.
In that time, Miami scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Game change with the sending off in the pen when he shouldn't even been on a card in the first place.
And that shouldn't have been a pen either.
Nope.
It was a diving header, and our defender was not near it.
Yep.
The Messi and Inter Miami star treatment goes on.
Especially in this tournament.
Yep. So, moving on to a better team in a better league. No Cole Palmer, no problem. Chelsea put 5 past our London rivals in West Ham with 5 different goal scorers. Even Trevor Chalobah gets on the score sheet. All of which came after a pretty goal, very nice strike by Lucas Paqueta to put the Hammers up after 6 minutes. And then it pretty much turned into all Chelsea for the rest of the match. West Ham lost yesterday in the EFL. How bad are West Ham?
They lost to what? Wolves?
Yep, 3-2.
Well, they lost 3-2 to Wolves. Does that make them better than Man United at this point?
Oddly enough, I think it makes them worse.
Because they scored 2 goals against the Wolves. At least they got some goals in. I don't know, man. Graham Potter and I don't know, man. They're both running fast as can be to get canned out of here. West Ham's just dire. There have been a few years, as we said, we've done this for 10 years now, like where we've been like, man, this might be the year West Ham goes down. That could be.
I think West Ham is excuse me. West Ham is bad. They're poorly constructed. They have an unbalanced squad with no real speed at all. The manager, Graham Potter, who's seemingly ill-suited for the club structure. And there's massive structural problems at West Ham. And there's no support from the board or the club hierarchy. So they're suffering from lack of coordination, ineffective pressing, weak defense. All this is, exacerbated by the selling of people like Kudus. Like, they're just in a really bad spot. And they've had poor recruiting for I don't know how many years. Sold off a bunch of key assets. Graham Potter sucks. Sorry. He might be good for a progressive club like Brighton, but he has not been successful anywhere else in the league or in other competitions.
No, I think you summed all that up very, very well. It's only 2 games played. We have to keep that in mind for every club, right? It's very, very early. It's 2 games out of a 38-game season. But when you start off the season that you have, you're in last place. You have a -7 goal difference. That is a rough hole and a rough start to get out of.
2 matches in.
And you lose to the team in 19th place, which is apropos in the league where they are, we'll talk about here in a little bit, but they are -5 goal difference, and they haven't even scored a goal in the league yet. At least West Ham has scored 1. So just, Ron, I think you summed it up. Yeah, great. It's just, it's a mess up in Manchester and a mess down there in London for these 2 clubs.
I don't see Graham Potter lasting long.
That's why he was my pick to get canned first.
Or it's that thing where like he gets canned and then it's just enough of a bounce that West Ham scoots by in like 16th place. But yeah, I don't see it being much better.
So
than that.
long year, but not looking good for them right now.
No. Now over in Manchester City, who once again get beat by the Spurs. Spurs got their number except when Arsenal needs it. Spurs once again beat Tottenham. Oh, sorry, Spurs beat Tottenham. Well, that's happened before too. Spurs beat Man City as 2 first half goals were enough to once again play the boogeyman team to Manchester City's schedule. So Tottenham 2 wins in, 2 to start the season, while Manchester City with shades of inconsistency like last season. Even when I got ready to say the phrase, Ferris, I think the way you wrote that's correct. Inconsistent like last season, it's still Man City. So it's like I'm almost afraid to say anything because something will just happen and they turn it on. And this, if they get their F ups out of the way real quick and then just cruise on through, and then it's about everybody else having to be perfect.
Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of this game. Just caught the highlights because it was on early here, and I worked late the night before. But it's Tottenham are just that bogey team for Man City for some reason, and the goals happened kind of late in the first here, and then they just kind of held on. And you saw what a lot of teams are doing right now. They're trying to play out the back, but you saw when the playing out the back doesn't go right, and the teams with their high press can pick that ball up, and that's what happened here. James Trafford trying to lay it out makes a hell of a gaff there, and the ball bounces around a bit, and Paulinho, Spurs summer signing from Fulham, just slotted it at home, and it made it 2-0 right before half. Like, that's just a back-breaking goal to go into half with. And Man City just seemed like they could never, recover from that and couldn't replicate the scoring that they did against Wolves the Saturday, before. So I'm not sure on Man City. They have a lot of new people. They started a different lineup in this one that had Ryan Surtsey in there as like the number 10. And Marmouche out wide with Gonzalez in the midfield, alongside Reinders. But I don't know. It might take some time for them to gel as well. I think they are going to be better than they were last season, but if they're going to have to be more consistent than dropping these type of games.
Better than they were last season, but there are probably clubs that are doing better than last season as well.
Probably a bit of both, yeah. At least from the start so far.
Ron, do you have no comment because you've married into a family that likes Man City? What's happening over here?
No, I just think, they've got a bunch of new players that haven't really, got up to speed with the style of play, and they're still figuring it out. So I'm going to withhold judgment until like week 4 or 5.
At the end of the day, they still have 8 of the last 10 Premier League titles or whatever. I don't. So it's yeah. So we'll see. This is the longest. Is this the longest now? Why did I just lose their manager's name? Has been at a club. Guardiola. Yeah.
For them at least.
Yeah. Well, I mean for him, I meant. So.
Oh, for him, possibly.
Yeah. That's you, Ferris.
I was sending you a photo of my beer. Apologies. Bournemouth got their first win of the season as an early Tavernier strike was enough to see past struggling aforementioned Wolves. That's about how we figured the match result would go. But when exactly do Wolves get their first win of the season? And as you kind of look ahead here, I don't know.
They got Everton, who's doing better. Mm-hmm. Then Newcastle after a couple of weeks of a break. Then Everton again, the EFL Cup. Then Leeds. Then Tottenham.
Yeah, maybe the end of September there with Leeds.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be my guess. The end of September, get their first win in the league, as it is. But yeah,
I'm gonna say they don't get their first win of the league until November.
Oh, and what game would that be?
Sorry. I missed one. October 26th, they'll win at Burnley.
Okay.
But I don't think they'll be Brighton, Tottenham, Sunderland, Leeds, Newcastle, Everton. Yeah.
Maybe not. And it really depends too. Jurgen Strand Larson came on and scored 2 in the West Ham game to get them the 3-2 win in the EFL Cup. But he's being courted right now by Newcastle, who I think have submitted a second bid for him. So if he stays, their chances are a little bit better. But if he goes, I don't know where the goals are going to come from.
Yeah, it's going to get even worse.
Yeah, that's going to get real dicey. And it, pardon me, it already is. I'm over here, Ron, hacking like I was hanging out with you. picking up the school from the children.
Yeah, that's what it is. God. The Mighty Bees in Brentford get their first win of the season on the back of the new record signing of Quatara, who came from Bournemouth. He scored in the 12th minute, but that was enough to see off Aston Villa. Man, Villa just struggling a bit. Good win for Brentford, instant impact on the new signing. But with a draw and a loss in the season so far, what do we think is going to happen for Aston Villa, gentlemen?
Yeah, what's going on there? I mean, they talk about such a strong season last year. I know they had some spots where they slipped, but also, I mean, you compare them to other clubs they were fighting around and against. Like they were been punching way above their weight and were doing really well, and they just look flaccid right now.
Well, they did lose.
Chris Wood's not playing in this game, Blake.
Exactly. And there you go.
They lost a bunch of players. Some of them were definitely impact players.
And a lot of them on loan too.
Yeah.
But and I think to that point real quick, Ron, sorry, but the PSR rules are hamstringing them a bit here.
The team is hamstringing themselves because they didn't plan very well for PSR.
Yes.
PSR
yes,
isn't hamstringing anyone.
Fair enough.
I just listened to all these different podcasts, and all these people are just bitching about the PSR rules. But it's not the PSR. It's not their problem. It's the club's preparation for PSR. So
fair enough. Yeah. Yep.
It's not like it came out of nowhere this year. They knew about it.
And all the clubs voted to say this was okay. So if the clubs don't like it, they can vote in new rules, but they haven't.
Democracy.
Sure. Something like
Brexit.
That. Just saying political terms.
But yeah, Villa they honestly just look like they are missing the key playmakers that helped them in previous years.
Yeah, they got a refresh in the winter there with Marcus Rashford and then Marco Asensio that came in and really added a flash to them and a little bit bang, kind of got them through the remainder of the season, even after they were knocked out of the Champions League. But they need kind of that refresh. The squad's quality; it's good. I think they're going to be mid-table, but they were trying to not get rid of, but they were trying to market and put on the market their goalie Emmanuel Martinez and Oli Watkins, or at least that's how it seemed, with them being kind of linked to other clubs this season. And they're big earners at the club, so it makes sense if they're trying to listen to offers, to them and wanting to shop them to kind of get their wages off the books. But they need something. They're just kind of missing something. They're a solid squad, but they don't have that kind of spark in the squad that is going to win them these type of games when it's that close, and they need kind of that down 1-0 and you need that goal just to kind of get back in it or to get out of there with the point, and it just didn't seem like they had that in this match.
Speaking of new signings, Victor Gyökeres got off the mark for Arsenal with a brace as the Gunners blanked newly promoted Leeds 5-0 in the home opener at the Emirates. And by the way, before the match, another new signing, Eberechi Eze from Crystal Palace, was introduced to the home side, looking good in an Arsenal kit and jeans. all is good right now in North London? No. I think Gyökeres getting those goals out of the way real fast was a big deal, even against a Leeds team that might not do that well this year. I think that's a big deal to get those. Those out.
Had he not got one in this, it would have been kind of a little bit more sketchy for him because he missed a hell of a chance before his first goal. That you're like, oh, okay, but nailed that, and then got the late pen that was awarded and won by what was it, Max Dallman?
Yeah, our 15-year-old that can't even go into the changing room. Like he has to get escorted in to meet with the team and stuff. Yeah, he's like 15 years old and won a instant impact when he went in. By the way, he almost he had a couple of shots on goal and stuff. That kid's good for his age.
What were you doing at 15?
I know, right?
I was trying to learn how to drive.
You know? It was wild to see him take the pitch and do so well. So, man, hopefully he's there for years. That's good.
He is the youngest player to play for the first team. Am I correct? I thought I saw that.
I think so, and he beats the record of Lewis Skelly from last year, right? Is that correct? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's true.
I think you're right there.
That sounds right. Or it's really close. Yeah, but
both were like 15 and then days, right?
Yes,
I think
it was like number of days.
Was like, I think he was like 15 at like 200 and some days.
And so it was like
201 days.
Yeah.
And then Skelly was like 15 years and 280 some days, so it was like a matter of days. But yeah, a heck of a game for him. I mean, 5-0. And Timber was awesome. Jeez. Like, dude, almost. Yeah. He's a player.
Yeah.
He's somebody from Ajax that I wish United would have signed opposed to Anthony and Onana. And go on about the.
Well, and then there is like the injuries. Looks like Odegaard won't be out that long. Saka will be out about 4 weeks. But now there's not this like panic because it's like, oh well. I mean, you got Eze, he can flip around. You've got, Madueke. You've got so there's not this like the season is over. Like, oh no, we won, but at what cost? Kind of vibe. So that's different. Never been there before as an Arsenal fan in many years. Where you're not like, well, that's it.
It's a deep squad, and there's reports are going in for Bayern Leverkusen center back.
Oh yeah,
something Hickabee or Hickaboo.
Is the rumor true?
I'm butchering that name, but if that's the case, and then they'll add even more depth to the defense, where I think is where they need it, especially at the center backs. That's really
they're the most.
Is it true that's another one they're snaking out of Spurs? That Spurs are creeping up on.
I don't know if it's a Spurs trying to. I hadn't heard that the Eze one for sure.
Oh no, Eze for sure.
But I had not heard about that one for Spurs.
So now the story keeps kind of flipping back and forth. So Eze was the guy who made the phone call. One last one.
Yeah.
He's grew up a Arsenal fan
and played for them like when he was young.
Teams. Yeah. Team. So.
Yeah. So. It's a little disingenuous to say that Arsenal snaked it from Spurs when really the player was like, look, I'm going to go sign for them unless you have a job for me. It's my dream to play for you, Arsenal, as in the first team. What do you think? And then he and Mikel Arteta talked, and then months went by without anything. So right before he's going to sign for Spurs, he calls Arteta one more time and says, unless there's something for me, I'm signing with Spurs. And by the end of the day, the deal was cut and everything was good.
And oh, by the way, there was a Kai Havertz injury in there that probably helped that call to propel across the line there.
Yeah. Hey, just saying. Hey, that's still snaking, man. It was pretty much a done deal with the Spurs at that point. He was moving on.
Yeah, but it's different because I think it's different. Well, the technicality of the player did it, not ours.
Dude, no, it's the snake. No, it's delightful. It's delicious. Yum, 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 yum. Let me eat up that we announce Eze and then we score 5 goals so that we end the day with on top of Spurs by 1 goal differential. Yum, 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 yum. So tasty. So tasty.
Oh, Arsenal fans. Speaking of Palace, though, where Ezzy came from, Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest played out to a 1-1 draw. The main talking points of this match really stemming from Forest taking Palace's spot in Europa League, which was kind of announced preseason there as they're going back and forth, was a Tifo banner presented by Palace supporters depicting Forest owner Marinakis holding a gun to Morgan White Gibbs' head with a thought bubble coming from it saying, Mr. Marinakis is not involved in blackmail, match fixing, drug trafficking, or corruption. The English FA are now investigating.
Well, is this like the NFL, the no fun league? I'm sorry. As soon as you saw that tifo, you knew everything that's happening right now was going to happen investigation wise, but you were like, man, English soccer, I just love you guys so much.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the tifo and kind of going back to the club. I think the problem comes with the gun. Right,
sure.
The gun violence,
but they knew
knife violence and stuff just worldwide, let alone in England. The gun is where the main investigation comes across. Like yes, there's been these talks that Marinakis, how he got his wealth and yada yada yada, are involved in these type of things, but it's really Palace just being pissed off that Nottingham took their Europa League spot when they should be playing in Europa Conference League, and Gibbs White didn't go to Tottenham and this sort of thing. So I like the banner. Just take away the gun, and you can like do a little bit cheekier where he's like tied up in a rope, like an old like a
villain tied up on the
rope. Yeah, like an old villain at the train track or something. You just take away that gun aspect, and I think it's a good cheeky banner.
You knew it was going to happen, though. Well, I would have done something about Man City or other clubs that are owned by multiple people that somehow this is not a problem for.
But they didn't take Palace's first ever chance to be in the Europa League. And in fairness, like Nottingham didn't do anything, right?
Yeah, they were just next in the...
They were just, so...
I love that literally the only thing we talked about was the tifo.
Yeah, well, and we didn't even mention the whole fallout between him and Nuno Espirito Santo.
Oh.
That whole fallout.
So that's nuts.
They're going to have to talk about it. So there's a whole heap of things with this match other than the actual gameplay.
Yeah, the Nuno is like doing well, but it behind the scenes, it's a mess behind the scenes. Like
everybody's apparently the owner Marinakis and the chairman, whose name I'm blanking on at this moment, are their relationship with Nuno is quote unrepairable.
You know what? And why would you think such a thing when Marinakis stormed onto the pitch last season and like, oh wow, I'm so surprised by this. Like, yeah, no kidding. When your boss storms onto the pitch where they really, really ever shouldn't be.
But also like the fact that they were fighting for those spots in Europe, no one thought they were going to do that at the beginning of the year. So even though it slipped at the end, I mean, they ended up going to. But that's such a wild reaction to me. I don't understand it.
Yeah, there's so much other stuff going on behind the scenes that we're not privileged to.
That's why we love the document, the docs and documentaries that come out to give you. And that's why they're so big. Whether it's the NFL or the all or nothing or Sunderland Till I Die or Welcome to Wrexham, gives you a behind the scenes on like what you see on TV is the play in the game, but these are businesses.
So does Nuno become...
And it's just like you go into the office and there's drama in your office or there's this in your office, that goes on there as well. And it's just this is playing out in the public because the Premier League is the number one kind of sport in the world there and number one sport obviously there in the UK.
What's Nuno's next club this season? He's going to be coaching Brentford or Man United?
Manchester United.
Speaking of new clubs, stadiums, as we mentioned at the end of last season, Everton have a brand new club and a brand new signing.
Wait, they have a brand new club?
They have a brand new stadium. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. And they have a brand new signing in Jack Grealish, who helped welcome in this brand new stadium on Merseyside, the Hill Dickerson Stadium. That doesn't roll off the tongue nearly as good as Merseyside.
I think it's kind of sorting to start too.
With a 2-0 win over Brighton and Hove, and saw Grealish assisting both of those goals. So new stadium, new season, new signings. Do we have high hopes for Everton this season? Also with the new owners as of the third quarter of last season?
So I have an observation that's a comparison. So Everton's not going to be great this year, but they'll be my guess will be a solid C-. They don't get threatened of being relegated because I think there are teams that are worse, and they'll comfortably sit in that sort of like 12 to 15 spots is where I think. Sure. But like looking at like the simple move of Jack Grealish, look at what that's done for the team. And so then
on loan, but yeah, on
absolutely. Loan. But like that's the thing to just go back to Ferris, what you were saying about Man United and stuff, like the inability for some of these clubs to go and look at what they have and just like make a correct signing or two to get them over a hump, mind you. I'm not even saying like win the league. And Everton, Grealish has looked a very savvy loan, not just a name to get in there to sell some kits, you know?
Yeah. And to that point, I think Grealish is a good example of a player that thrives as being the star man for a team, not going in where there's a lot of other stars, right? He won a bunch at Man City. He did well, but was really inconsistent there, especially last season. But played a part in their treble winning season, yada, yada, yada. But he got that move because of what he did being the talisman for Aston Villa and being that kind of big fish in I don't say small pond because these aren't small clubs, right. But and I think your Evertons, your Villas are areas where he can really strive in because he gets the chance to be creative. He gets the chance to be him. He gets the chance to kind of the system more adapts to him in a way, and not necessarily. You're still going to play the same formation in that, but managers are going to allow him to play a little bit more freer, unlike a Pep who really wants control of it all and understanding of where these players are going to go, and it's my tactics going to win this game. And in fairness, he's done that brilliantly, but did Jack Grealish really fit into the system and style that Pep played? I don't think so. And I think this is where he's going to get a chance to shine. And both of these assists were good quality, just like English winger type assist. And if he can continue doing this for Everton, it's going to, it's going to do well for them. And Blake, to that point, I don't think they're going to be in a relegation battle this year. No. And I think they're going to be quality. And gentlemen, Hill Dickerson Stadium. Do you know who Hill Dickerson is?
Sweet white Santa's Christmas. Tell me what it is.
It is not a person, but it is the leading international commercial law firm offices in the UK, Europe, and Asia.
Man, I actually need Burnley to build Dave Fishwick's fish stand stadium. And that's what I want.
We've been calling that since like the first season we did the pod.
Still, Hill Dickerson Stadium is not nearly as good as Merseyside.
Yeah, agreed. But we have the Camping World Stadium. We have Mercedes-Benz. We've been doing that over here for years.
I'm not arguing. I'm just saying it's not as good a name.
It is. It's like going from the Highbury to Emirates. I mean, Highbury just sounds so much better.
And what was it? West Ham's before going to the Olympic Stadium. Oh God.
But that they sound so much more quality and local.
Oh gosh, why am I forgetting this? So sorry, West Ham fans.
People are screaming right now.
I know. Google machine work faster. Bowling Ground. But yeah, that stadium. It's kind of the new era of where these things are going, right? When you think about it, when you go Emirates Stadium, the Etihad Stadium, all those have been named, right? Because of Fly Emirates and these sort of things. So it's Everton going in to get more revenue, in the club. But yeah, it's kind of a sad thing when some of these older stadiums are starting to go bye-bye.
So West Ham's old stadium, just for a little history lesson, everyone, is Boleyn Stadium of Anne Boleyn, who the Boleyn family owned that land.
That's rad.
Mm-hmm.
Anne Boleyn was a wife of Henry VIII. And
Second?
that's why. What?
Second, right?
Yes, Anne Boleyn was second.
Second, mother of Queen Elizabeth.
Yes. Yeah. And
Ferret's just like, what?
Sure. The original Queen Mom.
Right. So that's, I didn't realize that was Boleyn Stadium.
That's pretty cool.
Oh,
I do.
Yeah.
There's like
actually,
history.
if you go to, funny you say that, Ron. I was just, when I Googled it, go to www.whufc.com and then Club History, the Bowling Ground. They have a lovely article describing all of that and kind of where this was. And you remember the movie with Elijah Wood, Green Street?
Hooligans, yeah, Green Street, yeah.
It's actually because the actual stadium was built on a plot of land next to and in the grounds of Green Street House.
right.
So yeah, very cool. Club history of the ground on whufc.com.
Well, Anne Boleyn history. Didn't know we'd drop Anne Boleyn up in this pod, but there you go. And finally, on Monday night, with the backdrop of Alexander Isak's saga continuing on, still going on, Newcastle hosted league champions Liverpool, with each side taking blows. The sending off of Anthony Gordon just before half for a brash challenge. Van Dijk proved to be costly in the end, as in the 10th minute of extra time. A goal by subbed on 15-year-old, speaking of 15-year-olds having impact, Rio Ngoma, is that right? Struck home on the match winner with pretty much the last kick of the game. That was a Monday night, that Premier League thriller, soccer thriller period. What a wild end to the game. This is one of those things where this is what champions do. A 15-year-old comes on and they manage to win the game at the death. They look good. They look good. What did you guys make of that Liverpool showing?
I mean, it's just Liverpool being Liverpool at this point, right? Like,
well, I saw a thing where someone said that Arne Slot has done the opposite of what teams sometimes do. He won a bunch with a solid team, but instead of like saving and dealing, they're throwing out, and still signing new people and setting themselves up to be good for a bit here. So, Liverpool's just really
this is
good.
the time to do it. So,
yeah.
What is it? Who owns them? Fenway Sports?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, it's smart. They're doing what, perhaps the Manchester United ownership in the Glazers should have been doing all along, which is hiring the right people, supporting them, building appropriate infrastructure, and allowing them to, do the football.
Well, not only that, if we look at modern football, in the last 10, 20 years of Premier League football around the globe, really, but like to go from Jurgen Klopp to Arne Slot, we haven't had a championship winning teams go to the next manager and immediately continue on pretty well. And this is like, even though they're making changes, it's like not skipping a beat. And that says something about the ownership, because other clubs certainly struggle with trying to find the best person to fill the gap. They get a name, but maybe not the person that actually fits it well, or you gamble and you take a Mourinho and go, maybe we'll get a thing in 3 years, but it'll wreck the club for the next 8 or whatever, I mean, so it's interesting to see what Liverpool's done here, or will continue to do, I should say.
Yeah, and Klopp leaving was a surprise, right? And the timing and all of that. But one thing that he did do was leave the club in a very good position, because you had a very strong core there, right? You didn't have to overturn the club a lot. You saw that last year. They didn't bring in a whole lot last year, but they had that core there. Now they were able to re-sign a lot of that core in the offseason, but they also then retooled in this offseason by bringing in 200, 300 million worth of players to help support that. So it's left at a good time where there's not this kind of dying squad, this kind of people are on their way out. You already have a structure in place. So it's not so much a plug and play for the players as it is a plug and play for the manager, as long as he continues on certain things. And he's done a fantastic job since kind of coming in and taking the helm to continue to push and continue to keep those players that have been there for a while, and even integrate, right? Your Ryan Gravenberg's more into the squad and make him an integral part of that team, where Klopp was kind of introducing him at times and was kind of sporadic. So it's going pretty well for them, and it's set up very nicely on how both Fenway and the club have kind of set everything up and gotten those deals done in the offseason, or the end of last season, I should say.
Before I blow the halftime whistle, I have a stat correction. For Arsenal, youngest players, Ethan Nwaneri in 22.
Not Myliska, that's right.
Yeah, he was 15 years, 181 days. Max Dowman made his debut at 15 years old this year at 235 days. What an old man.
So wait, what was the first one? 15 years and what?
15 years and 181 days. Ethan Nwaneri. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but super close. Regardless, I don't know. Well, I was listening to Counting Crows and playing Doom on my computer. Like that's not what I was doing. 15. I can't remember.
Great shout for Doom.
You like that?
I do.
There's the halftime whistle. Let's get over to Ron's beer news. All the news that's fit to drink.
Gentlemen, I have one bit of sad news, and then we're going to take off on a science quest of beer. But gentlemen, you should raise your glasses to a gentleman named Gordon Boker, who you may or may not be familiar with. I'll tell you about him in a second. He passed on August 21st, 2025, died at the age of 82 in Seattle, a city he called home for most of his life. Cheers for everything you've done for the beer industry. Rest in peace, Gordon Boker.
Thank you, Gordon.
Now, do you guys know who that gentleman is?
That's what I'm
clue.
I'm hoping we're about to find out here.
Ferris, you should know.
Okay.
Ferris, you go to Starbucks every day and order your triple upside down mocha latte, leave room for the whip.
Yeah.
And the ice and the sprinkles and whatever else you order.
Oh, well, I've actually amended my order a little bit. It's a grande ice caramel macchiato upside down with an extra shot.
I thought you were kidding, Ron. I didn't know.
Nope.
Oh, beautiful.
Gentlemen, Gordon Boker is the co-founder of Starbucks. But before he did that, he started one of the first microbreweries in the USA in 1981. Seattle Red Hook Brewing.
Oh, wow. Love me some Red Hook.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He co-founded Starbucks. And in 1981, he opened the Seattle Red Hook Brewing. And in that time, right, like 1981, craft beer was not a thing. But he really helped pioneer a bunch of that, taught so many other people how to brew beer and run a brewery, and his kind of proteges are in Florida. His proteges are in the Carolinas, Virginia. His proteges are in the Northeast. There's so many people in the beer industry that learned under Gordon Boker how to run and maintain a brewery that we probably wouldn't have the craft beer culture that we have today without this man's work.
That's awesome. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. He opened
That's
a
pretty
small
awesome.
independent brewery in 1981, and it took probably more guts and determination than imagination, because, local bars only served, it's kind of the big, mega, huge, universally recognized brand, Bud Light and Coors and Molson and whoever else was around in 1981. Maybe some Old Milwaukee or some Schlitz.
Old Milwaukee.
You're welcome.
I love some Schlitz.
Who doesn't?
But he envisioned that a day would eventually come where the public was into more types and more kinds of beer. And so he opens that. He also expects that from a coffee standpoint, other people were going to like different types of coffee other than Folgers and Maxwell House, which were the only two coffees that I grew up with, right? Not drank coffee, but my parents did, right?
Don't forget Sanka.
Oh, that's right. Good old Sanka instant coffee.
Freeze dried, baby. Yep. That's what I knew of coffee as a kid. That's what my grandpa would drink was Sanka. That's what I knew of it.
So, Gordon Boker, thanks so much for all your contributions. We appreciate it. All right. Now we go on to the science portion, gentlemen. Science.
I was actually promised a science quest specifically.
Yeah. So,
Fair point, Blake.
We all like music, right? We're all music people.
Yup.
Sure.
Blake is a musician. Sings, plays guitar, mandolin, banjo, whatever else.
Bazooki.
Crazy. You keep your bazooki to yourself.
You shut that bloody bazooki up.
Gentlemen, a group of scientists have positively proved that audible sound waves can affect beer fermentation by increasing the growth rate of yeast and accelerating the fermentation process by about 35%.
So
That's
I'll be darned.
crazy,
we should have set our fermenting homebrew barrel next to the banjo stand.
right? Research has demonstrated that applying a quote white noise through linear actuators will deliver sound energy as a particle motion. And that will essentially reduce fermentation time by roughly 31 hours without significantly changing the beer's flavor profile or VOCs. And for those of you at home, VOCs are volatile organic compounds. Now, while some researchers suggest sound alters the aroma compounds, other findings indicate that the methods of sound application actually improve efficiency without compromising the quality. That's insane.
That's cool.
So what this means is you can actually produce beer faster by 31 hours, roughly 31 hours.
That's so wild.
That is
awesome.
Wild.
So the faster fermentation essentially enhances the yeast activity, and they convert the wort sugars to alcohol faster. The particle motion, using these linear actuators to deliver sound energy as particles, is more effective than the kind of air to liquid transmission. If you are a CFD or computational fluid dynamics person, this is so nerdy. Right? But essentially, it keeps more yeast in suspension during the life of fermentation, which is incredible. Minimal flavor disruption, potential flavor modifications, but no one's really been able to prove it does. And so far, in all of the research, it has not significantly changed it. But that means, like I said, breweries can increase their output by a little more than 24 hours. The sound can be used as a tool to maintain desired flavor profiles. That means your quality control is better. And it's going to be able to modulate fermentation with sound to offer different ways to diversify your product styles. So this is super nerdy, cool stuff. If you want to read the actual report, go to sciencedirect.com and you can search for the beer fermentation article. It is 311 pages of amazing. It's also a cure for insomnia. I fell asleep 4 times while reading it.
That's awesome.
Okay, so that's your journey into fermentation. Our journey into something we talk about all the time on this pod. I even mentioned it today when I was drinking my American Belgian style triple. Gentlemen, we talk about head retention all the time.
We sure do. We love us a good head retention.
But does anyone really know what causes head retention?
Oh, I do not.
Well, gentlemen, you're about to find out.
This is like the best PBS Kids ever.
Right? Come on in to run the science guy.
When it comes to foam on the pint of your beer, Belgian beers are ahead of the game. Thank you. A team of European researchers on a quest to determine what goes into making the perfect beer foam found that triple fermented Belgian beers came out on top for possessing the most stable foam out of the drinks that were studied. And the least was a single fermented lager. Super interesting, right? Now, if you go to, I'm going to give you the website at the end, but the physics of fluids, you're welcome. Again, a computational fluid dynamics nut.
Safe to search. I hope.
That's my new name of my OnlyFans.
Physics of fluids.
Physics of fluids. That's Ferris's OnlyFans. Just Ferris in a science coat and nothing else.
Just his lab coat.
Yeah.
Right? Pocket protector.
Listen, I got like 4 hours to sleep. I got home at 6 a.m. I'm delirious right now. Man United suck. Orlando City suck. God, what's my life going to?
So the idea was in this study, the idea was to figure out what happens in the thin film that separates 2 neighboring bubbles, right? And the idea, the first thing that you think about with a beer head is all the bubbles, right? You get good lacing as it goes down the glass, as you drink it, blah, blah, blah. A key characteristic of this foam that sits at the top comprises of tiny little bubbles of CO2 coated film, right? And the film, when the film remains stable, the bubbles retain their shape, and therefore you have you can hold all of that CO2 inside of the bubble, and you get, quote, good head, right? In contrast, the less stable film, or a less viscous film, there's your Reader's Digest word of the pod, viscous.
It's Dr. Viscous. That's his name that he goes under.
The thinner or less stable the film, the quicker the bubbles pop, right? So to determine exactly what caused the foam to remain stable, the team studied 6 types of beer, including 2 Belgian triples, a Westmalle triple, and my favorite, triple Carmelite. They studied a double, a single, and 2 lagers. And the team found that all the triple fermented beers presented the most stable foam. The runner-up beers were fermented twice, and the single fermented lagers came in last, which makes sense because as your fermentation process goes on longer, your beer becomes more viscous, not less viscous. Super cool. But here's the nerdy stuff, gentlemen, because I know you love it. In short, the higher number of proteins in the beer, the more stable the beer. But when a beer undergoes the additional fermentation process, the nature of the LPT or lipid transfer protein changes, which in turn increases the stability of foam. Any idea what a LPT1 is?
Oh, the LP. Nope. I was trying to think of something I could slide in there that would make sense, but I can't. I was going to say lipids, but that's LPT, so LB.
Well, you're not wrong. It's a lipid transfer protocol, right? Or protein, right? So when that is changed in the Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which is the yeast strain that all beer is fermented under, right? It produces an extra enzyme called a phospholipid, and it goes through synthesis, making the beer more viscous. So the more you fermentate it, or the more fermentation that takes place, the thicker the beer gets. Therefore, when the bubbles rise through it, they pull a bit of that with them, and therefore the film around the bubble of CO2 in your beer or nitrogen is more stable. That's what that all boils down to. So your best and most prolific head in beer are your triple fermented beers. And that's why I basically have just explained why you get head in beer, right? Or foam at the top of your beer. Super nerdy. If you want to go check it out, you can look up Discover Magazine online, and you can search for Belgian beers. That's how I got there. So Discover Magazine, that's where you go.
What did you call it? A journey through yeast?
Well, I called it a. No, I think I don't remember what I called it. Anyway,
I just know it's had a great, like, it should be an Epcot kind of name as a ride.
Yeah, exactly. Land of the Living and Journey Through Yeast.
Santa's White
presented
Christmas.
by.
So this is pretty interesting stuff that's all been, found out in the past couple months about one of the, more favorite beverages on the planet. It's just crazy that we're still discovering all this stuff about beer, and it's been around, about 4,000 years.
Beer is science, right?
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. So go to Discover Magazine and search for the Belgian beer. And then also, if you want to go and look at that sound, the audible sound increases, audible sound decreases the fermentation time. You can look that up on Science Direct.
Now makes me want to brew a beer again. but with music.
Yeah.
And good head retention.
To get that lacing.
Yep.
All right.
That, gentlemen, all the beer that is fit, all the news that's fit to drink.
Ferris. Oh,
real quick, I teased I was going to add to that.
Oh,
I won't go terribly long this, but Big Storm Brewing recently had some posts after a hiatus. They are now owned by the Center for Special Needs Trust Administration and Corporation. There's some court documents that they posted on their Instagram, and their post has since announcing the new mission and purpose behind Big Storm Brewing. We are very grateful to have met with such overwhelming support. However, there has also been skepticism and a call for total transparency. We acknowledge those concerns are justified and worthy of clarification. The previous owner has absolutely no operational or financial ties to the business any longer. Likewise, the new operator has no affiliation with any member of the previous ownership. We thank you for your support and look forward to serving you at Big Storm Brewing this weekend.
wow.
And they posted some chapter 11 stuff there, but I presume a former employee, because I was never actually told if I worked there anymore, going through some changes there in Clearwater, and hopefully for the better. So that was some beer news I just wanted to add.
That's sweet. I want to add your purple lights look sweet in your place there, Ferris.
Thank you.
You're looking very good.
Orlando Pride wall there. Courtesy of an NWSL championship, by the way.
Well, speaking of, shall we move you over to some La Liga's roundup?
Let's do it. I'm going to pour myself a beer while I do this. But the Liga's roundup is back. And so are the leagues in Spain and Germany. But first off, we'll start off in Germany. The top flight of German football kicked off this weekend with a whole host of exciting matches filled with some new signings and two former clubs returning to the top flight in FC Cologne and Hamburg SV. So as we kind of go through the first weeks of results, we'll see how we did. And Bayern just got off to a great start. They absolutely tore through RP Leipzig 6-0. Two Elise goals, a hat trick by Kane, and a new boy Luis Diaz from Liverpool goal make it 6-0. RB Leipzig have been kind of surplus to demands here a lot as they've lost a lot with some of their signings. One to Liverpool, one to United, and kind of so on and so forth. But yeah, they absolutely just tore through, and they are top of the table as you would expect. But Hoffenheim beat Bayern Leverkusen 2-1, kind of the big result of the weekend. Yes, Bayern Leverkusen scored early, but as we're used to with a Ten Hag team, they gave up late, and Hoffenheim came back and scored one in the 25th minute and then one just after halftime in the 52nd minute as Bayern Leverkusen lose. Yeah, they've been torn apart by a lot of players leaving in the off season. We talked about Hickey possibly on his way, or I'm not sure I'm saying his name right. Possibly on his way, but Florian Wirtz gone. They're obviously their big talisman and their big player, and a few others there. So we'll see how they kind of get through the season. Eintracht Frankfurt with Ntike gone to Liverpool. They seemingly did not lose a step at all as they beat Werder Bremen 4-1. Wolfsburg 3-1 over FC Heidenheim. And the same result as Augsburg beat Freiburg 3-1. Union Berlin, good result for them over VfB Stuttgart 2-1. And, this ruined not only a 4-leg parlay that I had, but kind of didn't make me too happy on a Saturday, as Dortmund were up 3-1 in the 82nd minute. Red card, penalty, gave up 2 goals, and they tied with St. Pauli 3-3. A little bit similar to how Orlando City just did tonight. But a good result there at home on St. Pauli's home opener. I think Dortmund play at home this week, so be good to get back to Signal Iduna Park. And then on Sunday, FC Cologne. I just told you they came up. They beat Mainz 1-0. A great result in returning to the Bundesliga for them. They scored a goal in the 90th minute. Yes, there was a red card to Nebel in the 60th, but they finally got it done as Marius Butler scored in the 90th to make it 1-0 for Cologne. And then Borussia Mönchengladbach, possibly where Gio Reyna is going. I think that's been confirmed, but he's moving over from Borussia Dortmund to Borussia Mönchengladbach. But they drew 0-0 with Hamburg, the other new team that have come up. So pretty good result there as their expected goals and total shots and possession and all of that were far less than that of Borussia Mönchengladbach, but nonetheless they held out for a point. So that is the German Bundesliga. It is such a fun league. Really get a chance to watch it if you're in the Orlando area. Go to Schweine's Deli. He'll show every game. But it's on ESPN Plus, so if you get a chance, it is awesome to watch on a Saturday and Sunday mornings here on the East Coast. Moving over to La Liga, which is also on ESPN Plus. They're 2 weeks in, and a little bit of a surprise, but it's really, really early, obviously, as Villarreal are topping the table with a +7 goal difference over Barcelona, who are in second. So as we kind of go through some results here, and what would be match week 2, kind of the big names that you know of and see is Barcelona got into a little bit of a shootout, 3-2 over Levante. It took kind of a 91st plus own goal as they came back from 2-0 down. Marcus Rashford was registered in time and did start in this on the left wing. Had a 7.1 player rating out of that, but didn't have an assist or a goal or anything like that. So for them to kind of come back and get that own goal there late, they win 3-2. Elsewhere, Atletico Madrid and Elche drew 1-1. Celta Vigo, Mallorca 1-1. Real Betis a 1-0 win over Deportivo Alvarez. Villarreal, I just told you they were at +7 goal difference, is because they blanked Girona 5-0 on the weekend. That just absolutely butt whipping. A hat trick in this by Canadian player Tajon Buchanan, who scored in the 16th, 28th, and 64th minute, and then a Nicolas Pepe goal started the things off. Former Arsenal player playing for Villarreal is what started the goal scoring off. And a Rafa Marin goal added the 5th as they just absolutely blanked Girona. On Sunday, Real Madrid won 3-0, a pair of Mbappe goals, and then Vinicius Jr. added in the 3rd. So if you get a chance to watch that too, it's a good league to watch. It's fun to watch. It's also on a good time for us because a lot of those games will be on more in the afternoon. So if you're looking for something to watch after any of the Premier League or Bundesliga morning games here, a lot of those games don't start until like 2:30 or so. So if you get a chance, certainly watch La Liga. And as we kind of alluded to a lot in this pod, the Leagues Cup is taking place here in the States as we kind of come across over to the U.S., and it was Inter Miami that won 3-1. Contentious calls, and we'll move on from that. But currently, it is LA Galaxy and Seattle. Seattle are currently up 1-0 in the 37th minute of play, and this is the semifinals of the Leagues Cup, which was instituted a few years ago. And both teams, I think, that make the final get into the CONCACAF Champions League. As we kind of look, and it's at the business end, if you will, of the MLS season. The table sits as such. I'll just read you off the playoff teams. We'll start off in the East. Philadelphia Union, FC Cincinnati, Nashville, and Charlotte round out your kind of top 4 there in the East. And then the aforementioned Orlando City and Inter Miami 5th and 6th in the table, respectively. Columbus Crew in 7th, New York City FC, and New York Red Bulls. They round out those top 9 places there in the East. Going over to the West, your San Diego FC is still first in the West, and if I'm not mistaken, no, Philadelphia Union are your current supporter shield, but they're right on the heel of them. As Philadelphia Union has 54 points currently after 28 games played, and San Diego FC has 53 points. So they're kind of finding out for the shield. But San Diego, obviously an expansion team into the league this year, have had a great, wonderful season so far. 16 wins, 5 draws, 7 losses, plus 19 goal difference on 53 points. As I've kind of said, but it's really been on the back of Anders Dreyer and Chucky Lozano, who have been playing just absolutely outstanding for him this season so far. Just behind them on the West in second is Minnesota United. Then you have the Vancouver Whitecaps and then Seattle Sounders, who are playing right now. That rounds out your top 4 in the West. LAFC, Portland Timbers, Colorado Rapids, San Jose Earthquakes, and Austin FC round out your top 9 there in your playoff places for the West. You might be wondering where LA Galaxy are.
Where are they?
They are dead freaking last. Not only in the West, but in the East as well. So in the big overall table, they are sitting dead last. They've done well in these like cup tournaments, if you will, but they have not done very well in the league this year. And mind you, they are the MLS reigning champions as of right now. So
first to worst.
Mm-hmm. And finally, as I have a sip from my beer here, this past weekend, Bay FC set a new attendance record with their match against the Washington Spirit as they played out to a very fun and thrilling 3-2 match, which went to the Spirit in the end, but in front of a sold-out crowd of 40,091 people at San Francisco Giants Oracle Park. This is the second time that's been played in kind of a stadium tour, if you will, because last year, the previous record actually that Bay FC played in was on the road and played the Chicago Stars, which they were hosting at Wrigley Field, home of the Cubs. So in back-to-back years, the NWSL has set a record. That league is starting to kind of heat up now, if you will, and in their business end of the season. But another record was also broke this past week, as the Orlando Pride set a new women's soccer world record, signing with the acquisition of Mexican star Elizabeth Oviel. I think I'm saying that right. From Tigres Unal Femenal of Mexico's La Liga MX Femenal.
It's not because the record had just been set by Arsenal a week or two prior.
Yes, because they signed something Smith, if I'm not mistaken.
And then boom, this right on top of it.
So your top 10 most expensive women transfers, as you were just saying, Olivia Smith from Liverpool to Arsenal was $1.3 million. If you remember, and why I said it kind of at the start of the pod in Ron's intro, Naomi Gurman went from the San Diego Wave to Chelsea really early in 2025 for $1.22 million. Rachel Kudananji went from Madrid to Bay FC in 2024, so that was previously the NWSL's biggest signing to be brought in, if you will. And there's a few other ones below that. The Dasher on there. Barbara Banda's on there. I think she's 6 on the list. She was brought in for $792,000 at the time. So Pride are and with the ownership of the Wilfs are really backing and supporting the Pride. And Haley Carter's done an absolutely phenomenal job with the team's structure, setup, and player personnel of getting these pieces in. And it obviously paid off last season when they won the NWSL championship. But this deal for this new player, it came at a great time because Barbara Banda was just ruled out for the remainder of the season, which is a huge loss. But this deal for Oviel is a deal through the 2027, again worth $1.5 million. She has won 6 Liga MX Femenal titles, making 58 appearances for the Mexican national side, netting 20 goals since her debut for the national side in 2018. Also, you may know this name and you may have seen this player, as she scored a hell of a goal and was on your top 10s, your best plays of 2025. Might even be a Puskas nominee type goal, as she scored a hell of a scorpion kick for Tigres earlier this year in March. If you have not seen this, go and find this clip on YouTube, Google, wherever. She does a scorpion kick at like the edge of the box there, and it loops over the goalie, and it's done in this like turnaround way where it is just a brilliant kick. And we look forward to seeing her play here with the Pride. Again, came at a good time because Barbara Banda was ruled out for the rest of the season, but also Morgan Gatrot, formerly Mo Bryan, has just kind of retired from the NWSL and signed on loan with Newcastle over in England. So this signing for the Pride comes at a very, very good time to hopefully push for another long playoff run. And that is your return of the La Liga's Roundup.
There we go, ladies and jelly spoons. We should move on to our beer mentions. Oh, the pod. I had the Anger's Altberisch Dunkel. What did you gentlemen have?
I had the Santa's White Christmas Stout from 1010 Brewing in collaboration with Barney's Coffee Tea House.
I had the American Triple Ale Unholy from Coppertail Brewing here in Tampa, Florida.
All right. And Ferris. Oh, sorry. You got hit by the wet fish again. I don't know if you could hear that. There we go.
Hear it. I'm really glad I can't hear it right now because I'd be cursing at you left and right. So I'll just have to do that when I listen back to the pod.
Do you have a Zlatan quote for us?
I was not prepared. I do not. However,
do you want the one from Ruben Amorim them to send it out?
If you want to, I've probably seen it, but if you want to say it real quick.
The best team won. The only team that was on the pitch.
Hey, listen, he speaks the truth because from what I watched, that's entirely true.
I read that, to be honest. I read that, went, God, that would be like a text from Ferris right now. That's what that read like when I saw it.
Yeah, no. Hey, listen, it's the truth. I don't have his Latian quote. However, if you have not seen our man, our God, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, will be in the new EAFC 26 game as an icon. He has officially been announced as an icon for EAFC, formerly known as the FIFA game, as a icon into that game a few years after his playing career. You can, if you pre-ordering and all that now, you'll see it on your PlayStation, your Xbox. He's kind of like the poster boy, if you will, for this year's game. And do you know who else is going to be an icon in this game, which I'm excited
Who's that?
to play with? The tea-sipping goddess.
Yes.
Of Alex Morgan is also going to be a new icon in this game post her retirement. So
now, when you say icon, what does that mean?
So in the EA games as they are now, the former FIFA games, the icons are a player card when you play an Ultimate Team that are not your normal league cards, right? So if you're playing with Chelsea or whatnot, you may have a Casado and Cole Palmer, just normal gold card, these type of things. Look at special cards along the way from the various things they do. But your icons are your icons of the game, right? So they have they have Pele in it. They have Wayne Rooney. You name an icon, oh gosh, there's so many players over the years. A Thierry Henry. They just have all of these icons that they kind of introduce into the game, and they are these special cards that are usually rated a little bit more than your normal cards. So they have a couple different versions of these icon cards, and every year they kind of introduce these new icons into the game. In the past few years, it's been kind of cool because they've introduced the women's game icons into it. So it's not just like an Alex Morgan, and they have a Mia Hamm, and they have a Julie Foudy, but they also have like a Prinz card, who was a famous German women's player. They have Alex Scott, an English player that played and is an icon of the game for that as well. So they've introduced that here in the past few years, and it's fun to kind of collect those cards. And if you get those in packs, it's kind of a big win, right? It's like finding that very, very one out of whatever. And they have the odds available in the game, but you get this card and it's like, oh my God, it's not in normal packs, and you kind of win the scratch off, if you will, to get these cards in packs.
So that's what you're going to be doing until you can get Alex Morgan.
Oh, 100% off.
I'll never forget seeing Ferris's face when she had come to visit Citrus Bowl, because she had just been announced for the NWSL Pride or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you literally like almost ran into her. And when you came back to our seats, your face in the Citrus Bowl, you couldn't talk.
Yeah. I tell you what, I've told the story in this pod before, but I was not a big Alex fan before that. But what I loved watching her here is how hard she worked off the ball, and how she did such a wonderful job at that position. And not only her movement off the ball, but her clinical scoring, but her first touches, how hard she worked up front. Seeing that live here really gained me a huge respect for her, and made me an even bigger fan of hers. So yeah, I'm excited to hopefully play again with her in the game, because she's been in the game playing prior to her retirement, but now she's an icon of the game, which is even better. And one of her cards is of her doing the tea celebration.
Yes,
so I want that card.
That's the one. That's the one you want. Well, as always, check us out on our website. If you wherever you listen to us, if you leave some reviews and ratings, we would greatly appreciate it. Share us with your great uncles and great aunts. We've moved on to adding more people to the list of who to recommend our show to. Second cousins twice removed. I still don't really actually know what that means, or anyone who's descendant of Anne Boleyn at this point. We like talking about your descendant in your pod, so we're going real niche with our targeting right now.
And Queen what?
What? That's Queen Elizabeth's mom, Anne Boleyn.
Oh,
Queen Elizabeth
yes.
I.
The OG.
Yeah, the
Queen
OG.
mom.
Yeah, the OG, the cool redhead, the golden lion. What was she called, Ron? What was it? No, the heart of a lion, the body of one, the heart of a lion. Yeah. What was that famous speech?
Yep.
Oh yeah, the old Queen Elizabeth. We all go way back.
Science and history on this Brewtiful Game pod. That's what we do.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, follow us along on Blue Sky, all those jazz, the different places, the Untapped will be dropping all these beers. And then I don't feel like I'm forgetting something. Last but not least, at work, we had a problem where someone came into our restaurant area that we run, and they stole some dozen eggs, and then also left with a saucepan of warm water. So the police believe that we are in fact looking for poachers. Looking for poachers. I love.
Yes, I feel like they are getting even better from you, Blake. Yes, indeed.
The split screen of Ferris enjoying that, and Ron like, no.
Listen,
no.
I haven't had a whole lot of enjoyment today, so that joke hit the spot there, fella.
All right, we'll take it. Here we go, gents. Love the beer, cherish the game, the Brewtiful Game.